Quote, "The internet is becoming the town square for the global village of tomorrow," end quote. This was a quote by Bill Gates, in which he explained that the internet was bringing global change. Back then, you had to physically trade and interact with other nations. Now with the internet, the world is interconnected and more accessible. According to Brainly.com, it's a virtual town square for people from all over the world to gather, communicate, socialize. But how did this global phenomenon come to life? Have you ever wondered how it started or how it came to be? Today we will explore how the internet came to be. From its origins to the World Wide Web in the 1990s, we will see how this network went from a government resource to now an everyday part of our lives. We will also look at the 21st century and concluding on where we are today. So buckle up. The word internet today is defined as a global network of interconnected computers, servers, and devices. But back in the 1960s, the internet was originally used for the government to share information. These computers were very large and mobile. If you wanted information, you would have to travel to the side of the computer or share information through magnetic computer tapes. Around this same time, the first network computers of the late 1950s and early 1960s relied on limited host computers. Host computers were these early devices with a mainframe with applications for files. It also came with file management and printing. Another development of the internet took place during the Cold War, during which the Soviet Union launched a Sputnik satellite. This led to the US Defense Department to come up with ways to communicate and share information in case a nuclear attack occurred. Researchers had ideas of systems where they could have communication with other host computers. Enter ARPANET, or Advanced Research Project Agency Network. ARPANET was a network with its ability to loop software at the Pentagon through telephone lines. On October 24th, 1969, the first message was a success as it transferred to ARPANET. With that success, efforts began to link networks towards Europe. Soon, the government began to explore solutions and connect networks through a program called Interneting. Later, a groundwork was laid by Vinton Cerf and Robert Kahn in 1974. These men envisioned the internet to be a collection of networks that operate manually. According to National Inventors Hall of Fame, Cerf and Kahn invented the TCP, or the Transfer Control Protocol, in 1974. This allowed the ARPANET networks the ability to interconnect and connect smoothly. While the internet began in the 60s, January 1st, 1983 is considered the official birthday of the internet. Why? ARPANET was later changed to the Transfer Control Protocol/Internet Protocol, or the TCP/IP. This allowed different computers with different networks to talk to each other. These networks can now be connected through a universal communication. As technology progressed due to the upgrades of the TCP/IP, the internet grew, particularly when the National Science Foundation conceived the NISPNet, or the National Science Foundation Network, in the 1980s. The 1980s was also the first decade on how the internet would resemble the modern day. However, it was not as capable as it is now. When the first computers were being connected, they were being powered by a network called Usenet. Developed in 1979 by graduate students Tom Truscott and Jim Ellis at Duke University, Usenet was a network that shared information through lots of Unix machines. This relied on phone modems to work, as well as a protocol called the UUCP, or Unix to Unix copy. The developer's goal was simple: create a messaging network where end users can have messages on topics. In 1980, Usenet was live and accessible. Over the next few years, the platforms used by users have grown to hundreds of systems across universities and research departments all over the US. Now let's enter into the next decade. In the 1990s, a powerful surge happened in personal computer ownership. As affordable computers and network services became more common, a revolutionary network emerged. According to Britannica.com, the World Wide Web, which was introduced by Tim Berners in 1990, offered a more accessible interface. It gave users the ability to navigate information, which by the 1990s, millions were utilizing. Things such as email and e-commerce changed how individuals communicated. As the web evolved, the platform took place to a wide array of content. The deep web, the dark web, and the most available and common, the surface web. All these webs are connected by hypertext and hypermedia links. They're electronic connections that link corresponding pieces of information. Hypertext allows someone to select a word or phrase or text that accesses documents that have information. The web operates with basic client servers. Servers are computers that store and shift documents to other computers. Clients are programs that request documents throughout the network. And finally, the browser allows users to view, recover documents. This gave the internet the significance in everyday life. Its rapid growth and segregation brought an impact socially and economically. Websites were being created at a rapid pace so to help people learn, shop, and connect with others. As a matter of fact, some of the biggest websites today, Amazon, Google, eBay, IMDb, and Yahoo, proceeded online. This all came together due to several elements: terminal devices, user-friendly software, and long-lasting content. These elements came together in the 1990s. While the web was becoming useful for everyone, the problem surfaced the internet, which needed a full usage of home telephone lines. This means that people cannot make phone calls and be on the internet at the same time, according to uswitch.com. Dial-up connections ran at excruciating slow 56 kilobits. Compared to 60 megabits today is equal to 60,000 kilobits. 1,000 times faster. It became very difficult to download anything besides text. By the mid-1990s, the internet conceived of networks with over millions of host computers. Tens of millions of users could own a PC and wander into the information highway through the web. In the 2000s, a new life emerged in the internet: interbroadband, a technology with a high-speed communication network. This high-speed transmission is called the Internet Service Provider, or ISP for short. This network allowed one signal and one line being split between the telephone and the internet. In other words, people can now make phone calls and be on the internet at the same time. It was marked as the always-on internet service. It also materialized with faster connection speeds. This made it much easier and faster for users to browse the internet, transfer, and send files. According to uswitch.com, the arrival of broadband was very expensive at the time and not available everywhere when it was first set in motion. Therefore, its initial usage was low. Despite this, the arrival of broadband networks gave people the ability to download photos, music, videos, TV shows, and movies, which opened up the entertainment side and social side of the internet. Some of the biggest sites were born and are still around today, such as Facebook and YouTube. This was also the perfect time for the fiber optic broadband to come into place. Instead of relying on copper phone lines, fiber cables provided faster internet speeds. This is all due to the light pulses and transfer data. As the decade rolled on, it gave birth to the smartphone and 3G, a third-generation machinery that altered our smartphones to mid-range computers. By the end of the 2000s, the internet was essential data and service in the lives of human beings. In the 2010s, the internet became more necessary for everyday life. That helped the web transition from an unclear setting for leisure to a mainstream movie platform because of the streaming companies of Netflix, Amazon Prime Video, and Hulu. It also allowed people to make content, as well as build a digital audience. With the rise of computing power, it gave people the ability to work anytime and anywhere, instead of being in an office from 9 to 5. But the biggest change in this everyday living is the rise of social media. According to Britannica.com, social media is defined as the form of mass media of the internet. It became the biggest, most visited destination aside from work or school. Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube dominated. According to uswitch.com, over 3.5 billion people began sharing their daily lives with friends and family. Followers started relying on these platforms for news, bit-sized content, and hot takes. In other words, people can now do more than they ever could online. Today, again, according to uswitch.com, over 5 billion people use the internet. For most of us, the internet became a normal utility. It is not something we don't notice unless a loss of internet connection. With the addition of 5G in urban areas, it has helped stock speeds for our smartphones. In conclusion, the internet is a tool and platform for everyday lives. With the rise of AI and platforms such as ChatGPT, who knows what the future holds? Only time will tell. Thank you.